pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, public hearing on the 2019 final budget and the 2018 assessments.
Oh, no, yeah, I
Any
know.
public comment?
We probably better go over, there is a couple changes,
Okay.
minor changes,
Yeah.
just so you guys know. I hadn't put in the $250 that you actually approved the claim for at the last meeting for the bridge. So I
Yeah.
added that in to the parks budget, and then Mike found, I sent you guys out an email, Mike found something that we probably should put in the water budget. So I'll kinda let him go over that quick, you do have it in front of you.
It's in the back of your report.
And then, yeah, in the
I
back.
think you got it set.
Is that this addition to water budget?
Yeah,
Yeah,
We have it twice.
yeah, it's in his report,
Yeah.
never mind.
yeah. So has everybody had a chance to look at that?
Yeah.
Okay, any questions?
Well, see, I read it, but I don't know that I totally understand it all.
Well, basically, in a nutshell, since I started working here, it's been something that don't work.
There's no way to turn it off.
No way to turn it off.
Well, and that was one of the reasons you bought the exerciser too, wasn't
Well, that exerciser's for the valves in town.
it? Okay.
Those up there are a different animal. From the 1920s, one's from 1948. That probably turned was around 1990. And the vaults are a great environment for rust, and I'm afraid if we got in there and bad with that.
So you're not gonna have to empty the whole vault, you're,
No,
how are you shutting it off without the valve, like in front of the valve?
we can't.
Okay, so are you gonna try and do it while, how are you gonna replace the valve?
It's all described right here. Basically, we're gonna shut off the tanks down below, we'll pressure the system with the so that we don't overpressure the system.
Okay.
And we need to put in one valve up above.
Gotcha.
And then, once we get that in, then, and when we, I think, the country club. There's a water line that goes down towards, that main. Those people won't have water. There'll be, I think, about eight or nine services that won't have water for
About 8 hours.
probably, I mean, yeah, I think we'll get it done quicker than that. And then we'll be able, and we'll have water to the whole system running on the pumps. Then we the older bulb, cause like I said, it's just an environment for rust and valves. Our telemetry that gives us tank level elevation, and that's what turns our pumps on and off, so there is a tap in there, so we're gonna keep that bulb.
Okay.
We'll put valves in there. Some of the older pipe, well, it is the older pipe, goes from the vaults to the tank.
Material of the valves that's going in, is that any PVC or what?
No, they're big cast iron,
Okay, but you said that,
yeah, but the tank is a thin, really obsolete steel hose. Iron pipe. Project in 59 and 60.
The only one I had a question on, if you could explain for me, is, it was one where you were gonna leave a valve out of the ground to be visited, is number 4. And install new valves to be buried later, so
Yeah,
those gonna be up,
no, they're down below grade, they'll still be exposed, we won't have any pipes coming into them at that point.
okay,
We'll just turn those valves off, and then basically, once the old valves in the 500,000 gallon tank are
Okay.
changed, then we can run on the 500,000 gallon tank.
gotcha.
And the old one will be sitting there empty.
Got
Remove that vault, we'll go back as far as we can, hopefully where we hit good pipe,
Mhm.
and we'll tie in, bring it to,
And number 4 are gonna be, well, it says install new valves to be buried later, so those should be sitting. Gotcha.
for like a day or two while we put the other ones in.
And
We have
then
to
they'll
put
be
all
buried.
4 valves in, then we can control the
Gotcha.
tank.
So when you say buried later, it'll be like a week later,
No, like by,
but not like next spring?
no.
Okay, that was my only question, was I saw that and I wouldn't know how long it was gonna be.
Now, if we get snow on September 9th, like we
Hey.
did last year, it might be a week, but, you know, no, I'm not speaking that into existence.
Well, and
I'm just
I
saying
guess the
that.
only other question is, and I, forgive me if it's in here, but when are you gonna do this project?
That's above me. I like to do as soon as possible.
Okay, but I mean, if you got to go ahead and the funding and all the materials, you could schedule it and have it done in a short amount of time. It's not like, oh, we'd have to do it probably October, November, whenever, I mean, it's like you
No,
have a couple weeks.
we have to do it before it gets wintry.
Yeah, okay,
Or we have to just go through the winter.
that was my only concern.
One thing that are in here, there is a price for doing the work from Central. The guys at Central are familiar with their water system, they're the ones who did they work for a different company then, but it's the same individuals that did some of the water lines in town here. So they're real familiar with Choteau. The one hitch in the getting. We don't have to have it engineered.
Mhm.
Uh, 2 sticks of pipe has to be. Engineered plan, and engineered.
The overall cost of this?
Yes. I don't know how much.
Okay.
I've got to call out the engineer to get an estimate on that. I think plan review from DEQ's. Probably 50.
Very firm to sign off on it.
No, I think we'll,
Yeah.
We
no,
will.
we don't,
Okay.
we will, DEQ's making it.
Gotcha.
Saying, you know. Could not replace the pipe and just, but I'm not sure that that's,
Is that gonna make headaches later?
oh yeah.
Then,
I mean, you can either do it and do it right or.
yeah, let's just do it right.
So we'll just, I'll find out hopefully tomorrow what the engineering is gonna cost. And money,
Two or, yeah, okay.
right now, I just sent an email and said, can you do it, when can you do it, what am I missing?
Okay.
So that's the budget increases all right there, I think we put in. We're gonna bump it to 50,000 somewhere.
At the top of the page,
Is it, oh, it's the top of the page?
I did, it's in,
above the central excavation quote, on the last
budget on that extra.
It's a good, I mean, this project should have,
Emergency.
no,
So we have 3 weeks.
no, I mean, I've spent a lot of nights worrying about if we get a break in that 12-inch line, we don't have a way to shut it off. And it's been that way. Shortly after 1990.
Well, we
90 was the
don't
last
know,
time
but
they
90
were-
was the last time anybody did any work up
Gotcha.
there,
So,
so if that was the last time the valve was
it's
shut
long
off.
overdue,
Yeah.
and it will be very.
These 2 vaults,
Just one vault.
the 250,000.
Yeah.
No.
Are we, and
No, it's
No,
not,
no,
the
no,
vault,
these
the
are
vault is not the tank, the
Okay.
vault
The
is just
tanks.
a little concrete box that
in front
valves
of,
sit.
okay, I'm with you. I just wanted to make sure I understood that part too, so.
Yeah, no, we're not removing a tank.
The tanks are okay though.
Yeah, I'll go, when I get to my report, I'll
Ish.
go with that.
Okay.
No, they're not bad.
Okay.
We don't know for sure.
They're old, but they're good.
but-
So, any other questions on the change?
Thing is, there, on the other part of it, on the assessments, there's no increases, they stayed the same,
Okay.
so we
Okay.
Did you tell them where that we got that money for,
No. Part of where, my thought was where the actual cash that can come from was, in years past, we have set aside when we have bulk water sales, like when the Forest Service buys water from us, when we have forest fire, when there was some of the fracking going on. So we have $41,734 there, set aside for something.
And so you're looking at, under fiscal year 2019 budget, how we have negative 61,000?
Well, yeah, cause there's cash
But
here.
you're saying, how do we fill that in? Is what you're saying.
Right,
So that's that 41,734 for
Right.
the water sales is one part of it.
one part of it, and then also, and it doesn't show it here, but we also put in, every year, we've been setting aside $10,000 for, that isn't restricted money, that is just for a capital improvement project for later. We do have, and we do have enough cash also, but there is this money available that we have just been waiting for a project.
And then what's the current value of that?
So that would be 71,734 total.
In that
Between the
capital
30.
improvement project or fund?
Yeah, and then we also have the replacement and depreciation, which actually is 303,000, which I don't think we would have to touch that. So plus the regular operating cash, so it isn't going to, I don't think that we would have to do anything with loan or grant, or I think that we can just.
Replace the tanks, whatever we do, I mean, any idea how big of a project that is? Is that like a couple $1 million project, or is that?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
They look good on the inside.
I think they're worth working with,
Right.
definitely.
Close the public hearing on our 2019 budget. Okay, everybody get a chance to read the minutes of the August 7th meeting.
Yep.
Any corrections or additions?
Nope.
Move that we approve the minutes of the August 7th meeting.
Second.
Moved by Steve. Any discussion?
Because we get my name right every time.
Yeah, would you quit making motions?
All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Okay, any requests to be out of state?
Yeah.
Again?
August 20.
Approve Mark's request. Aye.
You can vote, Jim Mark.
Aye.
Okay, any unfinished business? New business. Vote on resolution 829. 2019 levy assessment with special improvements.
I so move. Second.
Second by Steve. Any discussion?
Sorry, just to verify, you said the assessments were staying the same for this year, Jody?
Yep.
Okay.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, next item of business, vote on resolution 830, 2019 final budget.
I move that we approve resolution number 830.
Second.
Mark, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 830 passes.
Oh.
Oh, we go down, I guess. Back to-
You motion and then, on the assessments, he motioned and,
I motioned and Steve seconded.
Steve.
On the resolution 830, Stewart
I
motioned.
know we look, sound, and sound all alike.
It was the bearded one.
Going after my razor, sorry.
Did that sound right, Mel?
We can go to the tape recorder.
So my notes said so.
So we tape it, that's why we tape it.
Okay. Reports, law enforcement, nothing. City judge, nothing. Back to
Try
Mike.
that, that didn't work very well.
Everybody's got a report from them. Our wastewater first, continuing to trend downward, which we always like to see. The little bit of sampling we've done since last meeting's been real good. About nitrogen, phosphorus popped up a little bit, but they're still, right now, we don't have a permit level on nitrogen, phosphorus, because we haven't got a new permit from D2 yet.
Is it 10?
They're gonna set that when they give us our new permit. They'll
What's it been
base
historically?
it on, they'll base it on our plant performance. They'll
Okay.
put it like, it won't make it easy.
Imagine that.
I'm guessing our limit's gonna be somewhere between
It's a little tighter than other people's because we're a headwater stream. We just charge into the upper part of the Teton,
Mhm.
so.
and phosphorus will probably be, well, maybe 2 to, I don't know, 2 to 4, they might crack down. Trying beds right now.
When, how long till you think we have a permit?
We'll get this year's.
Is that a good question or a bad question?
We'll get this year's permit next year.
400 years, it takes them, I think, a year to get a permit, and they have like
And then
everyone in the states to do it at the moment, and
Gotcha.
it just depends on whether or not they decide they wanna put us on the top of the list,
So
basically.
by the time we get the permit, we'll need another permit.
Yeah, pretty much.
I don't know. I'm not-
That'll be close.
I'm
Okay.
not worried about it.
No problem.
Bureaucracy.
Bunch of other stuff there, if anybody. I'll go over a little bit on the sewer line project. The liners left down on the 13th, they finished up on the 13th and left. The service line digs are scheduled to be tomorrow, and then they're gonna go around Thursday and touch up punch list items. I'm expecting it'll be out of town, associate that up.
school, like you're going to Augusta, right there where it joins up on the highway. And I think it's still kind of gravel there. The leak was fixed. So is that gonna remain gravel or will that be
No, we'll
paved?
try
or-
and chip seal that, we're gonna try and chip seal again this fall.
Okay, so you'll have the time.
Depending on how these valves.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just curious about that, thank you.
I think you should bring
Did
up Gary
the guys that are doing the service lines, were they central excavation from Great Falls?
Say it again.
The guys doing the service lines on the sewer project, was that central excavation from Great Falls
Yeah.
also? So same company that gave you a quote for the vault?
Yep.
Yep,
Okay,
yep,
I thought it was.
yeah, they've just, contracted experience, this one is the exact opposite of that we report. That's all I'll say about that. The only other major thing on wastewater is, for the most part, I've been coming to meetings saying we haven't figured out what we're doing with the force main yet. I think we have kind of a plan now, and I'm waiting.
What?
Would you sign in?
And I'm waiting on some pricing to get back and then some scheduling on that, but I'm hoping that, again, before. We can see exactly what's going on in
So
there.
it says, install an access manhole, where would that be?
Midway on the force main, it's 1,900 feet long, we put it about 950 feet.
Yeah, so where exactly in town is that?
It's not in town, it's out of the sewer plant.
Okay, between here, okay.
On
Yeah,
the
it's not, it's on
east road of the lagoon.
yeah, it'd be right on, just east of. On the 19th, we had liquid engineering, buildings come up and, clean. Any other previous videos in the office here? I was pretty pleasantly surprised how nice they look inside, especially the one was built in 1923. The coating on the inside of the tanks looked really good.
A liner or?
Concrete
No.
with
Just pour it on.
a spray on,
Kind of.
it's like an 8, I read through the specs of the guy. It's real thick layer. Yeah, it's on concrete,
Line
28.
it.
Yeah, just have a new coating put on there. Um, What's that?
Even though there's cracks in the concrete.
Valves in, then we can fill it and
Flashlight or what?
well, they use the dye and the diver goes and swims and they spray the dye around the cracks.
Supposedly
But
if
we
it
also
leaks,
have
it
some,
sucks it out.
the old tank has 2 pipes coming. One goes to a drain, which is on a valve, so if you wanna drain the tank, you'll place, cause it's stuck. The other one is the pipe that either fills, and we didn't know which one was which, so we asked them to spray the dye around there, and we were sitting in the video van.
The diver said it was this one, but
Yeah, and I believe him, but I mean, it was not, and that was that was Sunday afternoon. We went through 8 minutes last 20 days, so. Out that pipe, and it wasn't real apparent with the little dye squirter, so. It could be they're like. They're on a weekend.
the real impressive part was how clean those tanks were, to me.
Yeah, there was hardly any.
I mean, it looked like you had a layer of dust on the floor. I expected to see sills on the floor, covering the floor. It was more like a layer of dust, they sucked it all up.
Yeah.
And they're so clear, that water's so clear in their dive with the camera. He's looking right clear across the tank and it's,
Yeah, you can't tell when they're above water or
yeah, you
below
can't
water.
tell, that's how clear our water is.
And it's been 4 years since we've cleaned.
So our water goes from the wells up to the tanks and then comes down through the treatment plant and
But
No, it gets treated before it goes up
goes to
there.
the tanks.
Right.
Ah.
treated,
We have so much chlorine in our water, is that correct?
Well, we don't really have a lot of chlorine in
We
water.
don't? Okay.
No, the minimum we can have is 0.2 parts per. And we try and keep it at point.
0.2 and 4.
What's that?
It has to be between
Yes.
0.2 and 4,
4 is the maximum.
not 0.4, 4.
No, 4 parts.
Okay, yeah, that's not.
So we keep it pretty close to the minimum. I don't wanna get.
Okay.
If we get down to like 0.3, I start going, well, we should maybe bump the chlorine up a little bit, cause of something. We're.
Okay.
So, yeah, so tanks look good, there, cause there is water coming out of the hill right now, we're losing water up there somewhere. A bunch.
Somewhere between quite a bit and a ton.
Well,
I
Mark,
mean, we've always lost a ton of water, so. You know, we
Treating this project alone.
we lose about 2 years and a half of that.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
it's not all from the tank.
No, it's probably not a tank, but I think there might be a pretty good leak up there.
Is this
Well-
the time to have some of the past problems, like where?
But it could be the pipe coming down the hill, it could be the pipes coming out of the tank, or it could be the tank.
Not so
No.
much.
well,
We need to be able to control the tank or we can figure it out.
And until we have the valves in place, we won't.
Makes it a little.
Was that one supposed to?
well, and
spray
some
down?
of the problems we run into, Mark, is the water system's kinda like
That's a
a,
spray,
kinda like,
or is that's from it?
excuse me,
Okay.
it's
That's-
pressurized. So if you fix a leak, that was a pressure release. Well, someplace that wasn't leaking or was weak might then start leaking.
Thank you, Mike.
And that's about it, on the water, I think everybody knows where we're going. Streets, we ground up East Division today, we did another little project over here last week, and guys are still patching potholes.
Do you have a threshold on pothole ratio to before you start zippering?
Not any
Nothing
kind of
formal.
equation.
Okay.
So we treat a little of a lot.
If you're driving down the street and, like, that East Division, it's just a war zone.
Yeah.
I mean, there was no, it was hard to tell where the pavement was and what was a pothole and what was just missing pavement and.
Right.
Vision past
East
8th
Division.
Avenue is that way, just,
yeah.
you've got 3 or 4 feet on the side that are just like crumbling old asphalt, and when it rains, it's
Just-
dangerous.
We have no lack of places to.
We know.
Anybody
So
else?
you know,
got
my
anything?
end, we were in.
You know, the only thing that I'll renew is now, with the railroad crossings by Rex's, people will go cross the white line to go around them, and I know we've hit a safety issue there, so.
I'm meeting with the Burlington Northern guy in the
Awesome.
morning.
Excellent.
Awesome.
Oh, good.
Cool.
I gotta,
We,
he got a.
we wrangled him today.
Good.
He was checking tracks and we told him to call Mike, so.
Well, and it was interesting because I drove to Power this morning and crossed a concrete track inlay in Dutton, and I thought, if Dutton's able to get one, we should be able to get at least one.
Well, so that's a main line and we're a spur.
I get it.
Spur. And
But
the
we also have
concrete-
more traffic than that little Dutton.
Yes, we do, and the concrete tracks, the concrete crossings have to have concrete ties underneath them. Cause the concrete causes water to sit there and rot.
I understand,
I
and
know.
it's gonna be a lot better than,
Yeah,
is this
Well,
like
go-
a rubberized? I
go
don't know
check
what
out,
this is.
go check out the one that they did down, by Alpine Touch. That was just a. No, the railroad didn't do that, but.
Who did that?
I'm not going to tell you who did that.
Was
but-
it a local citizen?
Yes, it was.
Okay,
And they got permission from the railroad to do it that way,
okay.
but it works nice and.
At the end of the day, though, it's nothing we can do. This is something the railroad's gonna need to do. Is that
I
right?
don't know.
Well, part of the problem here is, this is state highway.
State highway, yeah.
So DOT, but they're on Third and then over here
At the-
on,
Sheriff's office.
yeah, sure, which is also Third, isn't it? Third or Fourth, whatever. Those are our streets.
Let us know what you find.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna see what the options are, 'cause I don't know.
Sounds good, thanks.
Yeah.
That was all I had.
Anything else for Mike?
Just another
Lori, you got
kudos.
anything else?
Yeah.
You've seen all that I've done lately, so it's all good.
They voted on it.
And they did already, so I don't need to tell you anymore.
You missed out on the vote, Joe.
I know, nothing changed in the budget other than
The only things that changed was, and that
Right.
bridge that you guys approved, I just forgot to stick it in the budget for the handrail on the bridge in the
oh,
park.
yeah, yeah.
So I just added that $2,500 to the bridge budget in general.
You
Other than
voted
that,
also.
that's it.
My robot.
That's right.
Mel, you got anything?
I don't.
Tom? You gotta come up with something.
Next time.
Council, Steve, you got anything?
Sure. Lions Club meeting last night. I got approval a couple months ago for a Cyber Lions group. If anyone listening at home or anything is interested in joining Lions Club but isn't able to commit to a meeting, we have new options for that. Come talk to me. I'd be happy to tell you about it.
Question, Steve, did you ever get a hold of, like Google or whatever to try to change the routing?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I reached out to Google directly. Some of the mapping stuff that I worked on, I attempted to change to try and keep people from routing that way. Won't respond. They just
So you never got a response?
not insofar as Google directly. It's just people who are volunteers working with Google Maps responded saying, "Well, this is the shortest route." Is about all I wanted to. Which I mean, it's factual. I did update the speed limit on that section of road, drop it down to 15. That hopefully helps routing some people away from there. And at this point, I think the biggest part of the problem isn't part of it is the mapping. The other part of it is it's the straight shot bypassing town. That's what it is.
So the
People
other-
are getting, you can watch people, they stand up there at that corner, they stop, and they're looking at their phones, which way do I?
Oh,
go?
yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely.
The problem is if let's say we were to close it, we close that section road.
Mm-hmm.
Then
Let's
are
just-
people gonna come up Main Street and down like we
Yes.
want them, or will they just loop around by the?
No, so what
Baptist
people are
church.
gonna do is exactly that. I watched an RV the other day, he saw the speed bumps, he turned at the Y, or he
Went towards the courthouse.
went straight
tennis
on
courts.
the Y and went, oh, there's speed bumps there, and so he turned, there's that triangle there where you were talking about, he went on the gravel, and then he turned, went to First Street, or Sixth Street, and went down past the Baptist church.
Or they come up past Matlin Keys and they turn down there.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's why I mean,
Yeah.
if we did take action and close it, we're not gonna get them to go where we want them to go.
No.
I
So
run
it's
the
time
Apple.
for a letter from an attorney.
Well, part of what we need is we need signage that says Glacier this way.
Well, we have it, but we have to get permission from the state.
Right, but, cause that's where the majority of people are headed.
Yeah, but then when they're coming, I mean, I see
Yeah,
a lot of
coming
cars coming
Yeah,
from.
Yeah, but that's Yellowstone.
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
southbound, you need a sign that says Great Falls that way.
We got them in my office.
Or
Yeah.
hell, and shoot them down by the tennis court.
Yeah.
The Apple whatever there.
It's true, cause if they're.
They were running around town the other day.
Oh, were they?
That's what it is.
So I run the guy down.
Right.
He says, I just mapped it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The guy, they hire out some guy to come
Well,
and do that, yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's, we have to talk to like their mapping programmers and,
Just call and ask for the CEO.
yeah, oh, yeah,
Say,
You talk to Tim Cook.
yeah.
tell them you're a shareholder.
So you're good, Jill?
Oh, just, so what caused the blackout the other night?
It's down
Uh,
on
Lightning
Comrade.
strike.
If you were on the Facebook group, Jill,
Yeah.
we discussed it.
According to Northwestern Energy spokesman Butch Larkin, there was a transmission line located between Conrad and Penrose, and there was a brief heavy rainstorm over the top of it, and sometimes after a long period of hot, dry weather, if you get a brief heavy rainstorm, you'll actually conduct electricity from the line to the wooden crossbars, and so that's what happened. It caught the crossbar on fire, it literally burned the top of the pole up.
Wow.
And that was the transmission, Choteau, Conrad pump area and Ponderay pump area, which are irrigation pump facilities. From about 8:50 to about 12:30 the next morning.
It's like I'm reading it.
Now, why,
But they didn't tell you the rest of the story.
That's
They're
Oh, sorry,
working
go
on the
ahead.
transmit, normally our power comes from Bull,
yeah,
from the south, they're working on that transmission line. They cut it,
So we rerouted from there.
so where everything was coming from up here, according to Steve Mellinger, he told them, no, you can't do that on a weekend. You gotta keep it, but theoretically, our power comes from Bull.
So at the end of the
Oh.
day, it's all Conrad's fault. Is that what you're telling me?
No.
sure.
It's
Kind of a northwest.
But that's why when I went and
Effectively,
looked on the map online, it showed a problem behind Kelly's service station.
Oh, that's when they
And
popped,
that,
that's when they popped the big fuse down there, cause they,
that connection wasn't.
no, the connection was down below, but when
Oh,
they
okay.
had some people that didn't quite know what they're doing.
Mm. Anyway, okay.
So anyway, we're spoiled. If our power's out for more than 2 minutes,
With it is I forgot to flip off all the light switches before I went to bed, so when the power came back on, all my lights came on.
You know what struck me was, and I don't know if the rest of the town is this way, but Northwestern, no, not Northwestern. Three Rivers came through, put in a new router and switch for me with a UPC power backup. So everyone in town had internet and was on Facebook going, what's going on? But no one had, well, I guess they had phones, but no one had power or anything else. But everyone was using their own routers and everything, so.
but those went off about 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
I know it's glorious finally.
Sure did.
I went to sleep.
Is that when you're gaming?
Anybody? Steve, or Mark, you got anything?
Mine was just the credit road crossings.
Anybody else got anything?
Move to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
All right, Jill.
You got one in tonight.
Yeah.
Yes, write that down. Jill seconded.
I had to not
dismissal.
be here because I
That's
noticed
okay.
at the last meeting, there was nothing.
Gotta jump on that, come on now.
Oh,
You can get
Alright.
Steve, so we don't have to spell Dioko.
Doyakos.
You need to build you a macro, you can just eat.
No, I know how to spell it, I typed them in it, so.
I did the last ones, he did the these ones.